Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with an update on the passing of NFL wide receiver Vincent Jackson, who was found deceased in a Tampa Bay area extended stay earlier this week. And so news came out yesterday, I believe it was, that the preliminary autopsy report showed that Jackson had extensive damage, I guess, to his internal organs from chronic alcohol use. And so there was some back and forth between the sheriff, comments that the sheriff had made, and the family of Vincent Jackson, who basically came out and said that the sheriff does not have the right to be speaking on behalf of the family, because in his press conference, he made note of information that he had received from the family. And so today it is coming out that Pro Bowl wide receiver Vincent Jackson struggled with alcoholism and other health issues before he was found dead in a Florida hotel room this week. The Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister said on Wednesday. And so Chronister also said Jackson's family is concerned he may have suffered CTE. You guys know that is the disease that a lot of football players are diagnosed with after their careers end, and it is linked to concussions that they receive while playing football. And there was a football player that came out also a day or two ago, basically chastising the NFL for their lack of aftercare for football players once they leave the league. And he felt that there should be more done, about that. And I'm kind of like on the fence about that, because when you think about it, when we leave our employers, if something happens to us, our employers aren't, you could have worked for a company like my dad worked for the same company for 40 years. And then he died a few years after leaving the company. They sent their condolences. They sent my mom flowers and everything, but they didn't really owe my dad any aftercare once he left the company and received his pension and that type of stuff. And then when you think about it, these athletes make millions of dollars playing football. Shouldn't they, have money set aside for any illnesses that they incur or any lingering effects that, may happen after they leave football? To me, it's no different than if you worked in a position where you had to do heavy lifting all the time, and then you retire, and then all of a sudden you need back surgery. You don't get to go back to that company and tell that company that they need to pay for your back surgery. Or am I wrong in thinking this way? You guys let me know in the comments. But in any event, the story goes on to say that Jackson, 38, was found dead Monday at the Homewood Suites in Brandon, where he had been living since January 11th. And I shared that with you guys in the condolences video that I did. And so the sheriff went on to say that we got the autopsy report back that is going to be released today during an appearance on the MJ Morning Show on Q105 FM per the Tampa Bay Times. But then the medical examiner came out and said that they hadn't released any report, and that it could be weeks, even months, 3 to 5 months before they know the exact cause of death. And so the sheriff went on to say, unfortunately, he suffered from chronic alcoholism. Again, just tragic. We haven't gotten the toxicology report back, so can't say with any certainty that was it, but a lot of long-standing health conditions that contributed to his passing because of some alcohol abuse. So it looks like they're ruling out that he passed away from a suicide, which is, I guess it takes a little bit of the burden off of the family in dealing with his passing. And so according to Chronister, Jackson's family suspects CTE because he sustained multiple concussions during a 12-year NFL career with the San Diego Chargers from 2005 to 2011 and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from 2012 to 2016. This is just speculation, but what the family is telling me is that he suffered from CTE. They believe he had a lot of concussion problems. When you suffer from that, you're not yourself, you're not your normal self. And they believe wholeheartedly all of these actions are a result of what he suffered when he was playing in the NFL. And so Jackson earned 3 Pro Bowl selections and posted 6 1,000-yard seasons. He caught 540 passes for 9,080 yards and 57 touchdowns in 155 games. And, I shared with you guys some of his charity work that he did around the community. And so there was another article that came out, and this article that I just read to you actually came out yesterday, but the article that came out today was even more heartbreaking because it turns out that the employees at the hotel had actually entered his room 2 days in a row and saw him slumped over in the same position, cleaned the room, and then left because according to them, they thought that he was asleep. And then it wasn't until the 3rd day that somebody said, you know what, he's been in that same position. Maybe we need to call somebody. This is coming from, I actually saw this article on another website, but I can't find it. I accidentally closed it, but a similar article was on TMZ's website. Vincent Jackson likely died on or before February 13th, 2 days before he was discovered by law enforcement. This is according to a new death report obtained by TMZ Sports. The former NFL star was pronounced dead on February 15th after hotel staff contacted police about an unresponsive male in a room at the Homewood Suites in Brandon, Florida. Cops had been investigating and now say hotel staff saw Jackson in the same room in the same slouch position as early as February 13th, but assumed he was sleeping. But on February 15th, a housekeeper began to realize the sad reality. Jackson wasn't resting, he was dead, and someone at the hotel dialed 911. So when cops arrived at the scene, they confirmed Jackson had passed. As for visible injuries, police say he had a small laceration on his left big toe, but that's it. The death report also notes Jackson had a history of alcohol use, but was not known to do drugs. As we previously reported, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister announced earlier this week that Jackson likely died from issues connected to chronic alcoholism. Jackson had been living at the Homewood Suites, like I said, since January 11th, and you know that the family filed a missing persons report on February 11th, and the police went and they were able to track him down, not sure how, but they found him at the hotel on February 12th, but determined that he was okay, and then unfortunately he passed away shortly after the police left him, which is really weird. ESPN is reporting that his brain has been donated to Boston University's CTE Center as new details emerge about his passing. And so they say that former NFL receiver Vincent Jackson might have died in his Florida hotel room 3 days before, which I just shared with you guys. And it says that new details released by the medical examiner's office Thursday came on the same day that Jackson's family spokesperson confirmed to ESPN that the family donated his brain to Boston University CTE Center in an effort to learn more from his death. Based on the timeline of events described in the initial case, summary provided to ESPN by the medical examiner's office, Jackson was located by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, and then it pretty much repeats what was in the TMZ article. Thursday's updated report said there was no medications found on scene under, quote, social history, end quote. It listed alcohol use, smokeless tobacco use, and no known drug use. The report listed the cause and manner of death as pending further study, meaning it is not immediately known what killed him. Michelle Van Dyke, a spokesperson for the Hillsborough County Medical Examiner, stated there cannot be a rush to judgment in determining cause and manner of death. At this time, there is no time frame for the completion of the autopsy report for Mr. Jackson, though the medical examiner anticipates it may take several months. And then the New York Times first reported Thursday that the Jackson family had donated his brain to Boston University's CTE Center. And so they go on to talk about CTE, which stands for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a degenerative brain disease that can be caused by repeated head trauma, including trauma from sports such as football and boxing. It can be diagnosed only posthumously and in special autopsies that examine specific portions of the brain. Researchers at BU have previously found CTE in the brains of former NFL players. If anything can be learned from this death that might help someone else, Vincent would want that, since he was passionate during his life about impacting others around him, family spokesperson Allison Gorell told ESPN. So guys, that's it for me. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.